So today I'm going to talk about some of the research. I'm also going to talk to you about the fact that really I'm pretty clueless to listing presentations, buyer appointments, all that sort of stuff. But where I'm pretty clued up is that I've spent the last 8 years talking to probably the best real estate agents around Australia. Toop and Toops, the guys in Brisbane, Ray White Gold Coast, Ray White Brisbane, Tostavan, all these agents that write $2, $3, $4 million a year in commission. And you can imagine that 8 years of conversations with these people, 8 years of being allowed to go to a listing presentation with them to see how they do a vendor paid presentation, 8 years of hearing what their top 5 things they say and do at a listing presentation is what I'm going to share with you today, plus research. But to start off with, I'm going to start off with this concept that after so many years of working in real estate, the one thing that I've realized is that you don't actually have to be too smart to be successful in this business. The other thing that I've realized is that there's nothing worse in real estate than working in an office where someone dumber than you is doing better than you. That's the pits. Now, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, man, I can relate to it, you know, the person sitting right next to me fits that category. But let me tell you that after 8 years of talking to all these real estate agents, I've just worked out one thing. That the really successful ones aren't knowers, they're doers. And one of the things that you'll walk away, and Chris mentioned it, is that there's theory and there's application. And I love this line, you know what you know, but do you do what you know? And as we spend today, I'm going to say to you, what version of yourself is sitting in this room? Is it the version of yourself that's saying, I know this stuff, I've sat here before, I've heard Tom before, I've heard John before, I actually listen to all the audios, DVDs, I go to AREC, I go to all those things? Or is it the version of yourself that's going to say, I'm going to pretend that I'm listing this for the first time? Because if you do that, there's a better chance that the stuff's going to sink through. The first thing I want to do is talk to you about our research. So what we did is we employed a company called Boston Consulting that does a lot of work for us right around the world, actually. We use them in the UK and that. And what we did is we wanted to study our business. Why? Because one of the things that we make decisions on is whether we invest more in online products, whether we get rid of certain print products. We wanted to see what decisions we should make. And the way we make decisions is by getting knowledge. Because the more knowledge you have, the more awareness you have. And the more awareness you have, you make a better decision. And if you make a better decision, you take better actions. And if you take better actions, you get better results. So it's a pretty, straight line thinking. If you think better, you'll do better, you'll get better. If you think dumb, you'll do dumb, you'll get dumb. Pretty straightforward. So what we did is we thought, let's get more knowledgeable. And this is what we have found after studying not 100 people coming through and open for inspection, or doing a monkey survey that you can do out there. Getting proper people, spending lots of money to study what the research is showing about real estate, print media, online, and here it is. The first thing is, no question about it, that there is a correlation between print revenue an agency spends and how successful it is. We studied the top offices in their franchise networks. We lined it up against the clients that spend on our spenders list. And there is a clear line. If you're a top office in your group, you are a big spender in print. We didn't measure profits. And obviously profits are determined by how much money you get back and what your expenses and costs and all that. But there is a clear correlation between how much you spend in print media and how successful your agency is in market share. Undeniable. Facts are there. Number 2, there is a correlation of quality marketing to quality listing presentations. This is what the research showed. If your ads look fantastic, you've got big ads, great photography, you will attract those kind of vendors for your listing presentations. Alternatively, if you have small, shitty ads or no ads, you will attract that kind of vendor to your agency. You attract who you are, what you are. And it is very, very hard to convince a vendor to invest 10 grand in marketing when they're looking at an eighth of a page of ad in the paper as the only ad that you've got in there. Full stop. Because your evidence is lying. there is a gap between what you're saying and what you're doing. The next thing is that agents that control the quantity of print media also control the quantity of listing presentations. There is a direct link with volume in print media and who gets the listing presentations. Next thing, we've got clear research on how print works with online. And this is fascinating. And I'd love to ask people, if Mrs. Panos is sitting down going through the Inner West Courier and she sees a property that she really likes, what is the main thing she's going to look for online? Floor plan, diagrams, kitchens, virtual tours. Number one in the research, I couldn't get over it, was the floor plan. They want to actually see what that house is like on the inside if it's captivated them. Okay? So here's the interesting thing. And one of our major, issues that we have in print is that technology does not measure Mrs. Panos getting off a sofa, going to a computer, but technology measures Mrs. Panos shooting an email from her computer to the agent. And that's one of the challenges that we have in our business. But that brings me to the next point, and that is that we've got a clear correlation between price and print and online combinations. And in fact, in Sydney, that number appears to be 3% as a minimum, that you will sell a property at a higher price at 3%. This is based on about 70,000 properties going through Rismark and RP data research. So it's not one property. Don't get me wrong. I know that, there's an office. Hookers, they list a property. On the first day, they get an email alert. A buyer comes along, pays full price. Absolutely. I know that happens. But I'm talking about 70,000 times an experiment. And the research clearly shows that there is a print. And we're going to show you some information that you can take to listing presentations that's going to make vendors want to spend money with you. The next thing is the list to sell ratio is higher for print. I sold my house at auction on February the 19th. We'd bought in Haberfield late last year. We were one of the first properties that went to auction in the new year. And I'm going to give you the case study because it's just the perfect case study. And those of you that know the property and know the marketplace will know that this is just as how it happened. I took out 4 ads in the Inner West Courier, full page ads. Realestate.com premium, I went the whole works. The marketing campaign was $14,000. Most of the real estate agents in the area said, Tom got those ads for free. Whereas if he isn't, he's bloody stupid. I did get a discount working for News Limited, but it wasn't much. 14 grand in marketing. 4-week campaign. Auction on February the 19th. Happy to sell at about 1-1. Goes to auction, 2 people fighting over it. Sold for $1,287,000. I'm going to talk to you about a few of the dynamics that happen in that instance, because here's a case study of what real estate is all about. Your job is not to sell houses. Your job is in fact this. I'm going to move to it straight away. That's your job, to get a 10% premium in real estate.